I'm Mark DeCourcy, Senior Vice President of the U.S. Chamber of Commerce Foundation, and I'm delighted to introduce our next segment, which will look at how empowering women is driving social and economic progress in Guyana. For this important discussion, we're joined by U.S. Ambassador to Guyana, Sarah Ann Lynch, Cherie Blair, founder of the Cherie Blair Foundation for Women, and the Minister of Human Services and Social Security in Guyana, Vinya Prasad.
As many in the audience may be aware, Guyana, the only English-speaking country in South America, identifies as a Caribbean nation and is currently one of the least developed countries in the Western Hemisphere. But that is about to change. With over 10 billion barrels of proven oil reserves discovered in the past 7 years, Guyana, a country of fewer than 1 million people, is facing an extraordinary transformation. And women and girls need to be a part of this transformation, which is why we are here today. Mrs. Blair, could you please tell us a bit about the Road to Growth program? What does it aim to do? What are some of its successes? And what can we expect in the future going forward?
Well, I'm delighted to be able to tell you about the Road to Growth program. Thanks to funding from the ExxonMobil Founding, we established this program back in 2015 when we started in Nigeria at that time. And we designed the program as an intensive 7-week business management and investment readiness course for women entrepreneurs. It's a unique, custom-built online learning tool which combines the online learning with in-person sessions and events. And it enables the women to grow profitable business by building their business skills and their financial literacy, along with access to resources, and of course that very important building of networks with each other, because networks really matter in business. But we depend and we work very closely with our local fantastic in-country partners who provide the coaching and help us develop the learning models. And in Guyana, we have Action Invest, who have been working with us on this program. And so therefore we have locally based knowledge to help the women we work with build successful businesses and become, as the minister said, leaders in their community. So we started in Nigeria. Since then, we've done it in Mexico, in Indonesia, in Vietnam, in Kenya, and now in Guyana. Now, we started small in Guyana. We piloted it last autumn with just 28 women entrepreneurs. But they've literally just about finished last month their course, but 96% are already reporting that they're using their learning in their businesses. One woman from Guyana said that the Road to Growth has served as a complete eye-opener for her business and had changed so many aspects of her business to an exemplary standard. But in addition to that, we've also got, and we are also doing now in Guyana, her venture app. Now this is a mobile-based, award-winning business skills app. And we've already supported with that app 50,000 women worldwide. And it's been amazing how the Guyanese women have absolutely responded to this app, which 5 months ago we launched. We've had 5,000 women already download the app, which is 1 in 50 of the women in Guyana. So that's amazing. And already 89% of the users are reporting that they too are implementing the ideas and the training in their business practices. And I know that they will go on to do even more amazing things as they go through the course and as they adapt it in a way that suits them. We're going to have a second Road to Growth program, which is going to commence in Guyana in a couple of months. And we're looking forward to welcoming more women to that course and having great success with them as well.
So much for everything that you've done across the globe and specifically here in Guyana. I was at the launch of the app, and I know it's been very, very successful. So thank you for that. Minister Prasad, back to you. The economy of Guyana promises to undergo some fairly significant changes in the coming years, for sure. How will women entrepreneurs fit into the economic life of the country moving forward? And could you tell us a little bit about your initiative?
I think that is a very, very significant question because we are very focused on having more women in the labor force, but not only just in the labor force, at a very, very empowered level. And the government of Guyana has significantly budgeted towards empowerment of women, focusing on their jump into the workforce, on their role in micro enterprise, and specifically through the Ministry of Human Services and Social Security, the initiative that I launched last year called the WIN Initiative, by no coincidence, WIN, Women's Investment Innovation Network, really seamlessly transitions into our wider vision as government to ensure that women right across the country benefit from all the opportunities. So the Women's Innovation Investment Network allows us to work with women in the hinterland, as in our Amerindian or indigenous women, women in remote and rural communities. And last year, we were able to train women in a number of areas and disciplines, 2,170 women. And we were able to do it in a hybrid model where women were exposed to training in person and virtually. The idea behind this was to fit what we were offering into the lifestyle of those women and to open the opportunities wider than they perhaps conceptualized. Because when we introduced these programs, behind all of it, my thinking was not to let them move into conventional areas of training. So there was heavy focus on ICT, looking at the niche vacancies available in the public and private sector, and focusing on big areas of health and care linked directly to this ministry and the Ministry of Health. And when we started the program and it was launched, we did not expect the overwhelming influx of women to this program. Although we were able to train just over 50% of those who applied to the program, it made me realize quite so that this year I have to increase what we're planning to do. And we are hoping to train 4,000 more of those women. Now, the importance of all of this is to ensure that women understand that they can have the homemaker role as well as they can work from home, as well as they can look at unconventional avenues of opportunity where they can have financial benefit. And I think women are cottoning on to it quite well because many women have said that the program is nothing short of life changing. My office door swings all the time with women coming off the road to say, well, we did not think that we could do this, because one of the things I was very specific about was not to have any eligibility criteria for entrance into the program, because I was looking at the level of literacy and how women perceive themselves as being eligible for the existing programs. So this program caters to all women and women all across the country, and they literally have to have no necessary academic background, because coupled with the training in the disciplines, every woman is exposed to core training which focuses on our legislation, social ills and issues including domestic violence, child abuse, and learning about the services that we provide. This year, we will add a component of life skills or life coaching for these women so that they can be mentally prepared to jump into the world of entrepreneurism, and they can also utilize their skills in a very balanced manner, balancing all the things they do in life. And I didn't stop there. I made sure that we looked at it in a big picture manner from a vantage point. What happens after training? And so the first female business incubator has been launched, and that provides continuation of where we left off from the training, where women can now bring their skills and products to be quality proofed and marketed for them. The WIN app is also really gathering a lot of hype in Guyana, and right now we have almost 400 women signed on to the WIN app, which allows free advertising of their business and their products. But I must say to Mrs. Blair that at that launch, I had the opportunity to speak as well. And from then, we partnered with Action Invest. So every class of women, every class, that class is exposed to your app, and it has been well utilized. And so the number that you refer to, a big section of that comes from the WIN network. And so I think that's where there are crucial partnerships and really good partnerships where women are now understanding that we can learn from home, we can work from home, and we can expand in a very different way and not stick to necessarily the conventional methods. So it's thinking out of the box and is really giving women solid support in all directions.
Thank you, Minister, and it's so great to hear that you're working together in partnership. That's terrific. Mrs. Blair, the Sherry Blair Foundation for Women has focused squarely on breaking down barriers that women face in starting, growing, and expanding their businesses. Could you help us understand how those barriers impede the success of women entrepreneurs?
Well, absolutely. And may I say how delighted I am that we are working closely with the government, with the minister, because it's that partnership between government, between private enterprise like ExxonMobil and foundations like ours that really can and is in Guyana moving the needle. But you're right, of course, Ambassador, to refer to the wider issues. I mean, this year, International Women's Day is focusing on the theme break the bias. And, this question of stereotypes, of the idea of what is and what is not appropriate for women to do, is deep rooted in gender inequality and sexist attitudes. And it persists everywhere. And our main research and advocacy focus in the foundation is actually about challenging gender stereotypes and bias. And we've done a couple of research topics on this. But in November, we released our latest research, which you can see on our website. But we showed there how gender stereotypes affect women from the very beginning of their journey. So it actually goes right back to even in childhood. And it's the root cause of so many economic, social, and legal barriers that women face. Start in education. Inequalities in education, which exist across the world, mean women and girls start their economic lives disadvantaged, without essential skills and knowledge. Then it seeps into the laws of so many countries where business ownership is concerned. There are often laws that make it harder for women to own businesses, and certainly make it harder because they don't have the capital that's often required. And that then also permeates women's access to business finance, their ability to network, to find role models, to get into markets. And of course, the expectation around domestic roles for domestic and care work mean that women's time is also limited, and that limits their power, their ability to actually participate in the economy, which is why flexible learning, the sort that the minister is talking about, the sort that we do with our app and we do with the Road to Growth, is so important. You have to, if you're going to give women opportunities, make sure that you're molding your training that actually fits the reality of women's lives when they have domestic expectations that they can't just walk away from. And family attitudes, family support is very, very important. And most of all, it's about self-belief. You have to have that confidence and self-belief. And too often women are told what they can't do. Minister, you and I, and you too, Ambassador, were lucky enough to be told what we can do. But too often, girls are told that's not for you because you're a girl. And this is, of course, damaging, not just for women and girls themselves, but to everyone. We all benefit when everybody has an equal chance to participate. And if we limit important opportunities and services for women, then we prevent women doing what they do so well, which is actually giving back. Because you find that if you invest in women, they are more likely to invest in the education and health of their children. They're more likely to give back to their wider community, and as a result, make sure that the whole nation benefits from development. So this year, the call for International Women's Day, which is Break the Bias,
is so important because it goes down to the root cause of what's holding so many women back.
Yes, so important. Couldn't agree with you more, Mrs. Blair. And thank you for those important thoughts. Minister Prasad, could you briefly, I know we're winding down, just a couple more questions here if you still have the time. Could you briefly share with us your experience? Specifically, who've been your mentors and how important is it for women to help other women?
I think that women helping other women is perhaps the key to everything because the most powerful women can open some of the most important doors for other women. And if we are to start that network of that chain of women helping other women, I think more and more women will gravitate towards opportunities that they perhaps thought that they could never ever have. And it also allows us as women to appreciate how tough it is for some women to get past the stereotypes that Mrs. Blair spoke of. And I think breaking the bias is perhaps the best way of framing it for the theme of this year's celebration because bias is there in everything, whether you speak of opportunities or you want mobility upwards or leadership exposure, bias is always there. So mentorship is crucial and mentorship comes in many different shapes and forms. My earliest mentors, I would say again, would be my parents because they taught us to never limit ourselves in the way we thought, nor should we limit ourselves in the direction that we wanted to take. And so it allowed me personally to move into very male dominated environments and to challenge many things because coming from a conservative home and environment, I was able to break a lot of the barriers that were considered taboo. And then each woman that you met in a sphere that she called her own, you were able to learn from that woman through her experiences. So every conversation, every engagement, every interaction, I would consider that mentorship because I was able to learn from each person that I met and to be receptive to learning because everyone's perspective and views which should have equal weight. And if we are going to create the kind of environment that can really empower generation next of women, we have to start letting them know that we're the ones who are going to open those channels so that they can easily walk through. And literally, it's a pay forward system. So that would be my take on it.
That's fantastic. Thank you. Yes, mentorship can come in so many different forms, that's for sure. Ladies, ExxonMobil says when women move forward, the world moves with them. So, Mrs. Blair, what do you believe has worked well when the Sherry Blair Foundation for Women partners with the private sector?
Well, first of all, I think our relationship with ExxonMobil Foundation is a real proof about how true that is. Together, we have been able to empower over 30,000 women since we first started working together in 2015. And this collaboration, working with in-country partners, bringing our specialist skills and knowledge about using technology and how to incorporate that into training programs to reach so many women, along with the smart, can-do entrepreneurial flair that the ExxonMobil Foundation has really made a difference. You heard earlier the minister saying that if we can work together in partnership, private sector, NGOs like mine, and of course the government, then working together with our complementary skills and the reach that we can gain through the government can really move the needle. And this is a model which is recognized in the Sustainable Development Goals. Partnership is very key for that. But I believe that what you'll see in Guyana over the next few years is living proof, if you like, woman by woman, as to why this virtuous cooperation between the three areas, the third sector, the government, and the private businesses can really, really work. Because at the end of the day, what we're looking at is not the old model of philanthropy, which is giving people a handout, but actually what we're looking at is putting power into the hands of the individuals enabling them to remove the barriers to their success and their equality, because they, in the end, know absolutely what works in their environment. We can bring expertise and skills to help them, but we passionately believe in the end it's about enabling every woman to make the choices that are right for her.
Fantastic, great. And finally, Minister Prasad, specifically in Guyana, how can partnerships with the private sector help the government of Guyana achieve its goal to increase women's economic empowerment? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think we have already seen the benefits of partnership here through the Ministry of Human Services and Social Security, because many of our programs would have been supported post the training with other partners bringing things on board, whether it's financial assistance to start their businesses through grants or provision of equipment to accelerate their growth in business, and also looking at how they can sustain and expand. So I think partnership is very crucial when we come towards empowering women, because I believe that women should not only look towards the handout mentality that existed for a long time. We should teach them through tangible support that they can now look after themselves and still maintain all the other opportunities that they want for themselves outside of a work environment. So I believe that corporate social responsibility is very important for private entities to utilize in a sustainable way to feed into all of the programs that will work with women on training, on the opportunities to start their own business, to sustain, to grow, to mentor, to bring the kind of expertise as a developing country that we need to look at unconventional areas that our country will now require to focus on traditional sectors, but bring modern technology that exists out there, and to look at the oil and gas sector that we are now focused on as a country, and at the exciting opportunities that are now available. So partnership in so many ways, whether locally, internationally, or with the NGOs, those things can add significantly. And we do need to maintain the focus not only in the urban setting, but also looking at the remote rural settings and the hinterland, and to utilize some of the resources that women have there, some of the skills they have there, and look at how we can use the private sector partnerships to have markets on networking platforms, on social media platforms, and even how people can now buy from women. I love the tagline that we've started, Made for the World by the Women of Guyana. And that's something I would like to keep on promoting so that the world can appreciate what the Guyanese women have to offer.
Thank you so much, Minister Prasad. And thank you both so very much for taking time out of your very busy days. I think we could go on and continue this discussion, but I will let you get back to what you do best. And thank you so much for all that you do for women's empowerment across the globe, and specifically here in Guyana during this truly transformational time here. Thank you, ladies, very much.